Hey kids, Inverted Cow here. Welcome back to Scrap Mechanic. Let's jump back in the game and have some fun. Alright, welcome back to our little base here. See what kind of trouble we've been up to. As you can hear, the grinders are chopping away on another load of resources. I've been out mining and drilling quite substantially, and I'm going to talk to you about these trees here in a second. Let's see. I've set this little water cannon up on a button, just so I can water this crop plot. It does most of them if I pulse the button a few times. It might miss these corners or whatever. I might set up a second cannon in this plot and leave it. Eventually I'm going to have to set up a more automated farming. I have been working on the wall, the defensible positioning of the wall, however you want to call it. As you can see, yeah, I have a few blocks that are too far back, but that's okay. As you can see, I've got stone attached to chain link mesh on the outside of the wall. This chain link is virtually impenetrable as long as the stone is welded to it, so it should take them a bit of time to hack through it because they have to break the stones in order to do it. I've also done is collected some trees. These are the trees that you can't break with the sledgehammer, so I'm assuming that these will take a few hits from the bots as well. And these, unlike the stones, these can be, you can weld them to a block and then you can remove the block. I can't place a block on them, but I can weld them to a block and then I can remove the block, and I don't have any problems with that. But I actually brought back a couple of loads of trees. There's actually, should be 2 bundles sitting here. Oh, I put them side by each. I was gonna go, I thought I had 2 bundles here. Yeah, there's 2 bundles here. Of trees, and I just string them to a length of this chain link netting and pull them back on the trailer. So I want to do is use these trees and build a kind of a entrance to the base right here, large enough to pull the vehicle into. At some point in time, I still need to actually build a proper vehicle storage. I got to build a thing to bring the vehicle in and turn it around, because with that trailer attached to it, it doesn't turn around very well in here. I usually got to jockey it around, or I have to end up picking it up and placing it back on the bridge, because it likes to go for a swim or wander off into the wilderness. And I've been growing a bunch of small crops of carrots and beets and tomatoes and such like that, because I want to get a spud gun. Well, I need a spud gun. I mean, it is essential to have to progress in the game. Unfortunately, to get the spud gun, I have to trade beets for blueberries and carrots for bananas. I have some orange seeds, and as soon as I start planting them, we'll be okay. Hey, Shorty. So I have 30 of each. I'm going to grab some burgers just to be on the safe side. So that's 30 carrots and 30 beets. Actually, I got 40 carrots. And that probably wouldn't hurt to throw an extra pack of carrots out of it. I don't know if I need carrots for anything else. I don't know if I need carrots for anything else. Oh, I need tomatoes for ammo containers. Will need the tomatoes, so I can probably throw 2 containers of tomatoes at him as well. So there's that. Now I'm going to need a few little things. Not sure if I have them on the dealie there or not. But we'll grab a bearing, grab a switch. Just in case, I'll grab this to build that relay thing. If I can't do one, I'll do the other. Vacuum pump. I know I made a bunch of them, but I think I stored a bunch in here. I'm starting to make pumps and vacuum or water cannons, so I can start working on the base defenses and watering the garden plots as I get them growing. Take that controller. And I think your things are all busy, but I wanted to build a sensor. He's on auto repeat of various things, building the tier 2 blocks, please. Thank you. Tier 2 metal. He's building tier 2 metal is needed for the tier 2 wood, which is needed for the tier 3 wood. I'm trying to build a collection of tier 3 wood and tier 3 metal. Tier 2 metal is also needed for the tier 3 metal as well. So basically I'm crafting everything into tier 2 metal, and then I'll add one of those. Bricks, which is just stone. Concrete, which is just for basically foundation building. The tier 2 wood blocks, because that's needed for just about everything. And sand, because I'm putting sand around the garden plots. In the cracks in between, and then I'm painting it so that it looks like this. Unfortunately, I still have the grass clipping through, and I painted the sidewalks red. Supposed to look like red shale. I missed a couple of sections here, but that's okay. So that's where we're at now. Alright, so we have everything we need. Now, of course, if you've watched anybody else do this by now, because I'm almost 2 weeks behind. Unfortunately, I record about a week and a half to 2 weeks ahead. So, yeah, I'm about 2 weeks behind on what I'm recording and what I'm producing. So by now you've seen other people playing this game, and you know exactly what's coming up. I got to go to the fruit farm, or the packing station. So let's see if we can get across the bridge. And we're just going to head up to the packing station and see if we can get some packaged vegetables. So yeah, I'll pick it up as soon as we get there. Okay, we made it here to the vegetable packing station, and yes, I know it does tomatoes, and I know that officially tomatoes classify as a fruit, and corn classifies as a grain. I don't want to get into semantics. Veggies. The difference between, what is it? The difference between knowledge and wisdom is knowledge is knowing that tomato is a fruit, and wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad. Yeah. Okay. So please don't spam that crap on my on my channel. Okay. Now, unlike everybody else who comes over here and just literally builds a vehicle for this this thing, I'm just going to do something a little bit more permanent. There we go. As I was saying, I want to try to build something a little bit more somewhat permanent for this. Now, I mean, I'll just pick up and move these. Whoops. Oh, again, we're learning to push the right buttons. You're lined up. Yes, okay. you on, and you're lined up. I'll put you on. Okay, so I got 20 tomatoes in there. Now we're going to build a timer block. Now there's two ways to build a timer that I know of. The way I am going to do it is I'm just going to put a sensor down. Let's put it down. There we go. A sensor there. I'm going to put a dealie there. I wonder if I got any blocks other than... Let me just see what I've got in my chest. Chest of goodies. I got 4 of those. Okay, well, we'll use those then. And it's just a matter of putting down 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we just slap a controller down. Grab our magic little tool controller to the thing. Use the controller, put this on 360. Crank that up to fast. Yes, this is a fairly high level controller. But that's okay. And we'll hit loop, and then I should have a button. There we go. Actually, a switch. And then we just connect this to that, and then this is connected to that, and that should fire every time. Every time one of those blocks passes over the thing, it should fire. It's probably not the best. It's probably not the most efficient. But you know what? It's cheap. And if I was really worried about it, I could actually leave this going, and I would come back later and actually set up one of these on each unit. So then I can just turn it off, and we're just going to set the starting position to be 45 degrees. Come on, 45. There we go. Yeah, I don't know if that's picking up too. I could always make that a little bit larger so there's a bigger gap. Yeah, this might be something I do. Okay, I hear a doofus. I don't see him, but I hear him. So there's my first 2 crates of produce. Which should fit nicely on this trailer. Do I not have any lights in my... I keep meaning to put lights on the on the trailer. I hate working in the dark. Everything's always in the dark on this game. So there's two tomatoes. I'm going to transfer this unit over, and I'm going to do the next item in my inventory, which is the carrots and the beets. And we'll pick it up once this trailer is loaded, and we'll take a trip up to the trader. So don't go away, kids. We'll be right back. Okay, we're loaded up here. I tucked one up in the front grill here just to give it a little bit of balance, I guess. I could probably go 3 wide if I really wanted to. I mean, I do have the space to hang it off the sides a little bit. Maybe if I do a bigger thing. I'm also kind of tempted to do is come down here with some pipes, pick up 3 more of these these pumps, come down here with some pipes and see if I could actually set it up so that I just have one pump at each station and a chest attached to it with a variety of fruit in it, or sorry, variety of vegetable in it, and just have it nail it all in one go. I don't know if I really need to worry about taking this back. I could probably replace this. This is a level 4 controller. I don't need a level 4 controller. I actually had to slow it down. I widened these out by 1, and it was only firing on. I widened it out by 1, and it was firing on every second thing. So it was basically opposite of each other. So 2 of these were not even firing. So this is actually still a little bit fast. I could probably get by with just a level 1 controller. It doesn't really need to go very fast. Like the slowest setting would probably just fire this nicely. So I'm going to take the controller, and I'm going to remember to make a replacement. But I'm going to leave the bearings and the blocks and the sensor. They're not high-end parts. And like I said, I do want to come down here with 4 of these and see what happens if I hook them up. Unfortunately, yeah, broccoli I think I need for the higher tier spud guns, like the spud gatlings or something like that. Otherwise, yeah, tomatoes and beets are for the ammo container, and carrots, I don't really see any need for carrots once I get that going. So highly unlikely that I'll actually set the system up. I might just to do it, especially if they actually add any changes into the game for things to do with fruit and vegetables after, like after you buy the spud guns, the farming is still, as far as I can tell, is completely useless. Alright, and our trader is just down the road here. Literally right down the road. So we'll just drive up to him and see what he has to say with this pile of debris. The other station is quite a distance off in the willy wax there. It's going to take takes a bit of travel to get to. But really, I only want 2 things right now. So we'll just get up this hill and get our trades happening. Okay, we made it here. Let's start hammering on the button and see what happens. Oh good, it doesn't do the animation every time. You just hold the button and it only does the animation once. And it's just sucking them up. That's nice. Did you get this one on the front? I got this one on the front. And all of those. Okay. So yeah, you don't have to mash the button. You just hit it once and hold it, and it'll just pick them all up. Hello. You know what I want. You know what I want. I want some banana seeds. Banana. And some blueberry seeds. What do I need for... I need oranges and humans for garment boxes. Like some of these trades are just junk. Give me a trade where I can bring in tomatoes and beets, or carrots and beets, or carrots and tomatoes, or something like the low-level crap produce, and trade it off for something I'm going to need. Like fertilizer for beets. Okay, fertilizer for beets, maybe, if you use fertilizer. Which you probably do want to use the fertilizer for the higher tier stuff so you don't have multiple raids. Unless you've made your base in a position so that you can fend off pretty high raids. The ammo container and the mounted spud guns are both things that I want, which is why I want the blueberries and bananas, because I do want these mountable spud guns, because I want to test something before I go into the warehouse. And I know that I have a spot where I can hunt the big red farm bots for the warehouse keys, and I don't want to do it with just a single spud gun and my touchy computer. If I can avoid it, and a pair of mounted spud guns on a turret might do a little bit better job, maybe. And then I can always come back and farm them at that location as well if I need to, if they are farmable. I mean, if they respawn, then I can go back and kill them over and over again. And I'm really thinking that that might be something I might do just to get the component kits. So yeah, that's why I'm after the bananas and blueberries. A lot of bananas and blueberries. So the big problem is, of course, the bananas and blueberries are a higher tier produce, and when you grow higher tier produce, you incur the wrath of the bots a little bit more frequently, and at a lower level of crops. I believe I can only plant, like with the oranges, I can only plant 3, and then it triggers a raid. So I'm guessing it's the same for those. So what we'll do now is we'll head back to base. Let's not drive through the water. There we go. Oh, the trailer's going to take me down. Come on. Oh, we're going in anyway. Come on, turn already. There we go. Honestly, Orphus, I haven't been drinking nothing. Okay, I'm going to head back to base without wiping out and crashing too many times. And we'll pick it up once we get back there, and we'll look at what we have to do to defend ourselves. So don't go away, kids. We'll be right back again. Okay, we made it back to base. I had more hay bots chasing me back to the base than I had people watching my YouTube videos. It was kind of humorous. And they give me all their bits and pieces here. We're just throwing the last one in the crate. So what I'm going to do is, it's now 4 in the morning. I'm going to water up an area. Yes, I'm going to put this eventually on a proper watering system that actually waters everything. This gets the most of them. When it works. And it's a lot more fun. Oops. Just pick it. Thank you. start watering up stuff. I'm going to have to do a bunch of watering by hand. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get everything watered up. And then I'm going to plant a small, as soon as it hits midnight, I'm going to plant enough of a crop of the low-level stuff to initiate an attack. And then I'm going to fill this with everything else that I have to see what I can get planted and see if that makes a difference. I'm not sure if it will. I think what happens is once the attack is triggered, then it only attacks on the size of whatever the trigger was. So if it was triggered on, 10 crops of carrots, then you're not going to get an attack of tote bots, or you're just going to get an attack of like 3 or 4 tote bots and not an attack of like, a dozen hay bots or whatever that you would get if I planted all high level stuff right off the bat. And I know if I plant an entire crop of high level produce, like all everything in the higher tiers, like the stuff you get from the warehouse, the broccolis and the heck are they called, the pineapples, you will have red farm bots attacking. And I have a hammer. Hammers won't even, you can't hurt a farm bot, the big red farm bots, with anything but spud guns, according to what I understand with the tweets. So yeah, so I'm going to finish watering up everything here. I'm going to do a little bit of stuff until midnight. I'll pick it up and then we'll test our theory, and then we'll plant everything, and then we'll see where we're at, because yeah, I'll have to fight an attack after that. So don't go away, kids. I'll be back when it's time to initiate this attack. Okay, we're coming up on the 12 o'clock here. So I'm going to plant carrots and beets first. And I'm just going to plant enough to get the unauthorized farming triggered, which should be 10. Get the lag to work with me here. Okay, that should be 10. Come on, unauthorized farming. That's 3 rows of 4, right? So that's 12 right now. Okay, there's unauthorized farming. Now that should just kick off at any second. Usually it kicks off. There it goes. So now in one day, I'm going to have an attack. Now, if I'm right, I should only get an attack of 3 or 4 little tote bots. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my new produce, particularly these, where are my bananas, and those. And I'm going to get these in the ground. Now these are all higher tier produce. So I am going to come back and spritz them all with fertilizer once they're in, and then I'm just going to fill the rest of my crops with food crops, like what do you call them, just beets and carrots and things. Why do those look like carrots, not pineapples? Or, okay, I'm going to also throw down a crop of potatoes. So the rest of this is just going to be food. I'm going to do one good food harvest. So we'll pick it up basically in the next night, just before our raid. I want to see what kind of raid we get. So yeah, don't go away, kids. We'll be right back as soon as the raid is, just before the raid. Okay, we're back. It's not quite time for the raid, but the crops are starting to pop over. I fertilized everything that was a high tier crop, and all the potatoes that I had planted. I've emptied my inventory. I've noticed that some of these crops, the ground seems to have dried out. I'm not sure if it dried out before I planted them or if it dried out after I planted them. So I'm just running around throwing a little bit of extra water down on things here. I don't know if it needs it or not. I don't think it's going to make any real difference. But you know what? It never hurts to be a little safe, especially with dealing with these raids. So basically, when the raid hits, anything that's not harvested after the raid hits is going to get deleted. I think I have until 4 o'clock after a raid to harvest and clean up, so we'll see how it goes. But my higher tier crops have popped in here, so let's just get these off the field, because if anything else, I want them safely put away. And yeah, it looked like somehow I planted carrots in that batch. So 4 orange seeds got me 4 oranges, 4 bananas, and I got 5 blueberries. So I'm going to have to do that a few times over. But now I have 13 blueberry seeds, 13 banana seeds, and it looks like 10 orange seeds. So I've actually got enough now to do an entire plot of those. And I fertilized this plot as well, so these things are all popped up early. So that's all potatoes. Which got me an entire bundle and a half of potatoes out of that, which isn't too bad. And I think there was some beets, and there was 1 row of beets. Yeah, I can't tell if these are dried up and not growing or what the deal is here. But it's 1600, so it's coming up on 5 o'clock in game time. So I've got another couple of hours yet before the raid. So yeah, we'll see. Like I said, if these don't turn over, then they're all coming out of the ground. I'll just hammer smash them. Eventually, I want an auto, especially for the higher tier stuff, I want an auto garden going. But the problem I'm having is actually the problem I'm having is just basically I need materials. That's all there is to it. I mean, this game has so much grind time to it. I've actually let the other two series of games that I normally would be playing. I've let them slide a little bit here. I actually don't have videos recorded as of this time for next week, which by the time this one comes up would have been a week ago. So yeah, I've already got all of next week's videos for this game recorded and uploaded, and half of the ones for the current week already compiled. But a big part of it is the amount of time needed for grinding on this game. It's literally, it's hours just spent collecting resources, just driving around collecting resources. So yeah, it's a big drawback. Okay, I'm gonna wait here and we'll give it 5 more minutes and then we'll see what happens. So yeah, I'll pick it up in 5 minutes. It's seconds away from the attack here. The last of these crops are just done. I just ate a burger to get my power up, and you can see my tote bots have spawned. Don't hit me back. Where'd you go? Come here. Okay, was that it? That was 3 tote bots. And I just want to double check to make sure I don't have any stuck in the water, because I've had them spawn in the water as well. But as you saw, they spawned way out over here and out over here. And I planted this entire plot, which is 100 plots of garden, and I've got three carrots here and 2 tomatoes there, and this is what I got out of it. 4 oranges, 5 bananas, 5 blueberries, 13 beets, 31 carrots, 75 potatoes, 25 tomatoes, and I'd say that wasn't too bad. And I mean, I still got these last 3 here that are not accounted for yet. And it only cost me 3 tote pots. So, yeah. That's a good way to beat the system for higher tier crops. Just make sure you got the fertilizer on hand for the planting to speed them up, because you definitely want them sped up. I do want to get an auto watering system set up here. I'm kind of debating on doing the trellis look, where I have the cannons mounted to a trellis that shoots down, or the sprinkler look like I have right there. I'm not sure which right now, and yeah, well, we'll see what happens down the road. So thanks all for watching, kids, and I'll see you on the next episode of Scrap Mechanic. Good night for now.